كِلْتَا الْجَنَّتَيْنِ آتَتْ أُكُلَهَا وَلَمْ تَظْلِمْ مِنْهُ شَيْئًا وَفَجَّرْنَا خِلَالَهُمَا نَهْرًا. Suratul-Kahfi, Surah number 18, ayat number 33. This verse seems to be easy construct-wise. It's short, but it's really, really difficult. And we'll see why. Kilta, it's a verb. It's in the verbal pattern. It's in the dual as well as feminine pattern, because it is referencing al-Jannataini, which is dual, and it's feminine. Jannah is feminine. It's referencing that. Al-Jannataini is the two gardens, so that's all right. But how do we represent kilta? So the word kullun, the same root word. So that means something like every or all. Now this is dual. How do we capture dual as well as all or every simultaneously? How do we do that? And it's an idafa construct, right? It's in a verbal pattern, but it's not really a verb. It's a really, really complex things happening over here, because idafa construct happens with isms. So atat is the easier part, yielded. Ukulaha, its food or its produce or its food produce. So that is the easy part. But how do we translate kilta? So the best way, according to me, to capture both the meanings, both as well as every, is something like this. Both of the gardens, the two gardens, but both of the two gardens is not really required. It's wordy, unnecessary. Both of the gardens in its entirety. So in its entirety, the every or whole or all, that concept is also coming about, as well as both is also being preserved. So that's the way to translate this part. Really, really tricky. And both and in its entirety together, they combine to give the meaning of kilta or represent the meaning of kilta in the English language. Both of the parts are required. Both as well as in its entirety. Okay. So kilta al-Jannataini atat ukulaha. Both of the gardens in its entirety yielded its food produce. Next what? Wa lam tazlim. Wa and lam is no. So we'll withhold that for a while. Tazlim is normally, how do we translate that? So the best way to translate, normally zalama, we say he was unjust or he did wrong, something like that. So it's azlama yuzlimu tazlimu, and it's in the feminine pattern, so it's referencing the gardens, obviously. So that's why it's in the feminine pattern. And she, if we translate, and she did not do injustice, the garden did not do injustice, or she did not do wrong. It's okay translation, but not really okay, not really a good translation. So how do you translate it? And lam is there, which negates. Okay, obviously we'll not refer it, the Jannah, as she, but we'll rather refer it in the English language as it. That's okay, that's fine. But it did not, we will translate as fail. Now, it's not yet complete. Hear me out. Tazlim, it's actually tazlimu, and then, the lam forces it to tazlim. Otherwise, it could be tazlimu, azlama yuzlimu. The lam forces it to tazlim. That's fine. Minhu, from it. So in the matter of it, shay'an, anything, we will translate over here in this sentence as in any way. So, and it did not fail in any way in the matter of it, or rather, how do we need to expand this it also, minhu, in the matter of it. Instead of from it, in the matter of it is better, but not just in the matter of it, it's in the matter of its quality and quantity of produce. So now it begins to make sense. And it did not fail in any way in the matter of its quality and quantity of produce. That's what the first verse was suggesting anyway. Both of the gardens in its entirety yielded its food produce, and it did not fail in any way in the matter of its quality and quantity of produce. So that is the intended meaning. It's a very, very complex thing that's happening. It's very, very nuanced. It's very, very subtle. How the meanings are coming about. So we can do a regular sort of translation, which is not, and it did not do injustice from it in anything. Okay, that's an okay translation. Not really okay. It's a suboptimal translation. and it did not fail. Instead of he was unjust or he did wrong, it did not fail. She did not fail. It did not fail. And it did not fail in any way, Shayan, in any way. Minu, in the matter of it. So, in the matter of its quality and quantity of produce. So that's, according to me, the best way to translate this part. Wafajjarna. Okay, this part is tricky as well. I mean, how many complications are there in this one verse, which has three sort of subparts? And you can see the three subparts over here in front of your screen. And, okay, so wow over here. And now, okay, Fajjarna is, we can say, to cause to gush forth. To cause to gush forth. We. So we cause, we, the na is there. Fa'alna, that pattern. And we caused to gush forth. And what did we cause to gush forth? Hilalahuma. So, huma references the two gardens. That's in dual. Hilalahuma. So, adjacent to them, adjacent to the two gardens. So, that's what the dual references. And we cause to gush forth adjacent to them, Nahran, a river. So this way, it doesn't sound very natural. We can do a little bit of rearranging. So for example, and we cause them to gush forth a river adjacent to them. Still, it's not very okay. And we caused a river to gush forth adjacent to them. That's okay. That's better actually. But then, if we rearrange it a little bit, that sounds so much more natural. And adjacent to them, we cause a river to gush forth. That is what is intended. And then we need to clarify it further. What is this river doing? Creating a waterway canal for irrigation. That's not really mentioned. Nahar, you can translate as a river. And then you can add to either the river, suggesting creating a river, creating a waterway canal for irrigation, or you can think of it from the Fajjarna part. We caused to gush forth, thereby creating a waterway canal for irrigation. Doesn't really matter. That is implied. That is subtle. We need to understand and appreciate this part. So, وَفَجَّرْنَا هِلَالَهُمَا نَهْرًا, and adjacent to them, we caused a river to gush forth, creating a waterway canal for irrigation. That's what is meant or implied, intended in this verse. Now, we need to understand one more thing. We need to remember the layout of the blessings which the rich man was bestowed with. So there were two gardens. There was a farm in between. So there were the two gardens. There's a farm in between. Each of the gardens had grape vineyards and then surrounded by date palm trees. And there is the river on this side. So it is actually supplying water. This river acts like a waterway canal. It's being used for irrigation because it's parallel, right? So that's the entire structure. And it's parallel to it. So this canal is being used to irrigate both the gardens as well as the farm in between. So if you remember this, then this becomes so much more easier. And one more thing, Fajjarna, Fajr, you remember Fajr, daybreak or dawn. So what is it doing over here to cause to gush forth? What is this word doing over here? What is Fajr doing over here? So Fajr doesn't really mean Fajr. It doesn't really mean daybreak. What it really means, it's difficult to explain. It's to split, to crack. So as if it's figurative, as if the night splits and the rays of light, it dawns in, it comes through. So that is from where the word Fajr is derived. So it cracks, it splits. So and the night split and the night cracks up and the daylight comes through. So similarly, another metaphor is, another simile is, or another analogy rather, there are rocks and stones which can crack and then water can gush forth from it. So in that sort of connotation as well. So I think I have explained everything that needed to be explained in this verse. It's really, really complex. We did some rearrangement so that we make it more natural sounding English. Otherwise, it's okay, but not really okay, not really very. It becomes a little bit jerky in terms of translation. So that's what it is. And I think if you understand, if you sort of appreciate the construct of the Arabic, it's remarkable. We have tried to put together the same in the English language, and there's a struggle to do that. It cannot match even closely to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has stated in the Arabic language. Okay, so we'll read it once. Kilta al-jannataini atat ukulaha walam tazlim minhu shay'an wa fajjarna hilalahuma nahran. Both of the gardens in its entirety yielded its food produce, and it did not fail in any way in the matter of its quality and quantity of produce. And adjacent to them, we caused a river to gush forth, creating a waterway canal for irrigation.